I'm interested to go to humanitarian funding in particular. As I look back at conflicts such as Afghanistan and Iraq, my recollection is that we have had funding lines for humanitarian funding.
Bilateral programs.
Yes. Why have we not gone down the path of establishing a similar arrangement for what's clearly going to be, not just in the conflict stage, but the recovery stage for Ukraine is probably going to be at least a decade, if not more, from recreating some of their national institutions, mental health, physical health, etc. What consideration has been given to establishing that longer-term, more predictable program?
Well, I'll tell you what, Senator, if you get a bipartisan agreement to continue to grow aid rather than cut aid, which is what your party's position is, I'm happy to have a conversation with you about providing further assistance and how we lock that in.
That's probably an unnecessarily political answer to a genuine question, Minister, in terms of what thought has been given to it and what are the barriers.
I'm happy to answer it, but I'm making a broader point, which is, if you're going to come in here and say we should spend more on aid, then it does behove you to be part of those inside your party who prevent further cuts to aid.
So what I'm talking about here, Minister, is a framework whereby the people that we choose...
but ultimately, if you want a framework, you're either going to have, and you want more aid to Ukraine, you're either going to have to take it from other areas of the budget, of the aid budget, or you need more funding. Your party's position is actually less funding, presumably for Southeast Asia, the Pacific, and so forth. So, I'm really happy to have a bipartisan discussion about how we provide more development humanitarian assistance, but let's not have it in the abstract, because it's a set of opportunity cost decisions.
Well, it is, and Minister, you would be aware that in our last budget we allocated $70 million of new money to support for Ukraine, as opposed to the current budgets, which are predominantly absorbed measures by defence. Now, I don't particularly want to go down a partisan tit-for-tat discussion. I'm asking,
Senator,
what are the barriers to actually creating a framework that is...
You can't make that. That assertion is not correct.
Senators, please.
Minister, I was speaking.
Okay, anyway, well,
sure.
Through the chair, okay, let's just be clear, this is all through the chair, but just everyone calm down. 5 more minutes till dinner. Senator Fawcett, you have the quick call, and then I'll ask the Minister to respond. Off you go, Senator Fawcett.
Very good. My question is, what are the barriers to establishing a framework that would provide a predictable engagement between Australia and a nation such as Ukraine in the same way that we did with Afghanistan and Iraq?
Senator, I would make the point in relation, I'll get Mr Brosier to respond, but my recollection is that in relation to both Afghanistan, well, certainly in relation to Afghanistan, I assume Iraq, we had pre-existing bilateral programs.
Certainly Afghanistan.
Yeah, I could be wrong in relation to Iraq.
Senator, just in response to your question about the longer term and recovery, they're still at war. It's a grinding war, and the focus of the Australian response has been to assist with humanitarian assistance. You mentioned that there's no allocation for Ukraine, but we have used the Humanitarian Emergency Fund, which is an annual fund of $150 million to support Ukraine this financial year. When the time is right, it may be possible for government to consider what sort of longer-term recovery activities there are. But for the time being, it's a very hot war.
Indeed, but that hot war is also driving some of the need. There's a hospital in Dnipro, for example, that has done some 3,000 amputations since the start of the war. When you think of the follow-up care required for people like that. You know, it's a huge burden for a nation which is in the middle of a conflict. So waiting 1, 2, hopefully not more than that, hopefully much sooner for a resolution is something that I think we should be preparing for now rather than pushing it down the track. Anyway, I'll leave the questions there, but